Okay, I'm here with Mike Plowman with Trigon Staff Administrators. He's the sales manager for Trigon. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, thanks.
So today I want to talk a little bit about employer taxes. Can you tell me a little bit about the employer taxes and how that impacts businesses?
Sure. Really, when a business has employees, there's three taxes they're responsible for. It's the employer share of FICA, which is Social Security and Medicare. It's their state unemployment taxes and their federal unemployment taxes. And businesses don't understand that when they take on employees, all of a sudden they're responsible for those things. They have to calculate those, they have to remit those to either the states or to the IRS for all the wages that they paid their employees. And unless they're doing that on time and correctly, they can run into some trouble with the different tax agencies.
Now, can you give me examples of have there been situations where businesses have liens brought up against their company for failure to pay employer taxes?
Oh, absolutely. The federal government and the state governments don't look favorably when somebody has an employer tax responsibility that they don't pay and either don't report or they report it but don't pay it. And so that's really where a service like Trigon can come into play and really be a huge benefit, because with our program we have a pay-as-you-go situation. So each time one of our clients processes payroll through us, they're simply making one payment, and that one payment includes all of their employer tax responsibilities. So when we're receiving a payment from a client, we then turn around and remit the payments to the IRS and to the various states that they might have employees working in.
So the distinction then of what you're doing versus just straight payroll is that you're able to manage that process for the client.
Absolutely. I mean, they shift that responsibility to us. And so with our service, once they report the wages for a specific pay period, we really take it from there. We calculate the taxes that are due. We make the proper reports with the tax agencies. We remit payment. And this takes away the client's responsibility to have to do those things, whether we're talking about the end of a week or the end of a month or the end of a quarter or even when a tax year ends. They know, hey, I'm not going to have any surprises or anything come back and catch up to me down the road. Where I see a lot of clients run into trouble, or at least people before they're clients of us, is that they might, when they process their weekly payroll, they give their employees their net checks, and they calculate the taxes that they take out of the employee's paycheck, and even they calculate their employer taxes. But that's just sitting off at some future date that they know eventually they're going to have to send that to the IRS or to the state that they're in. Well, all of a sudden, when that due date comes around, they might not have that money that's due, even though when they process payroll, they knew it was going to come due eventually. And so that's where, when you look through different publications, and you'll see companies in trouble because those things catch up to them. And they can catch up pretty quickly. If you're talking about employer taxes, in Arizona, for example, running over 11.5% of gross wages. Well, you look at how much wages you might pay out in a quarter, and then when that quarter becomes due, and you don't have that 11.5% set aside, all of a sudden, that's where you start running into troubles. And the trouble you run into initially is going to be things like penalties, interest, and then eventually, potentially tax liens and even
jail.
More serious than that, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe doing some time.
And that's happened before, right? I mean, business owners have gone to jail over this?
Certainly. And we, what we do is just help business owners avoid that situation. I mean, when we have a client that's a brand new business owner or brand new to the world of employment, we can kind of set them out from the very start, set them up to do things the right way. But even if we have an existing business that they might have run into those troubles and seen those, even if it's not intentionally, they just realize, hey, there's a lot of responsibilities here. I went into business to be whatever, a painting contractor, a janitorial company. Now all of a sudden, I'm finding that I have to spend my time trying to figure out payroll taxes, trying to get these payments to the IRS or the state that I operate in. And with our service, then go back to being an expert in what they went into business for in the first place.
Yeah, so they can focus on their money-making activities as opposed to the administrative part of being an employer.
That's the key. Yes. Is let us take care of those administrative headaches that come along with having employees. And as soon as you hire that first employee, there's no way around it. There's some headaches involved.
Yes. Yeah.
From the fact that you have some new hire reporting requirements the very second you hire an employee. And then each time you run payroll, there's 4 or 5 different taxes if you look at the employer side of things, as well as what needs to be withheld from that employee's paycheck.
Yeah. Well, good. It looks like good service.
It's excellent.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.